She's a living paradox. Her life, nothing short of a cinematic roller coaster. A test subject turned super soldier, Alice's journey and evolution across the 6 parts of the Resident Evil movies truly is commendable, making her the franchise's most enduring warrior and one of the horror genre's best feminist icons. Stick with us till the end, and we'll explore the many layers of Alice and how she becomes humanity's last hope and Umbrella's darkest experiment in this marvelous video. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Alice in the Resident Evil movie franchise? The massively famous action horror franchise Resident Evil is known for ushering in the re-entry of the zombie genre in popular culture in the early 2000s, and is based on a Japanese video game franchise. The movie's premise was built around the Umbrella Corporation, a global biotech company that creates bioorganic weapons. The biggest weapon in their arsenal is the T-virus, which can turn people and animals into zombies and disfigured mutants. The movie Resident Evil from 2002 starts with the leaking of this crazy virus throughout Umbrella's secret underground lab, aka the Hive, thereby triggering a rampant massacre. Alice, played by Milla Jovovich, who has no memory of who she is and what she's doing down there, has nothing but a shotgun in her hand. She learns that she's part of a covert operation with another operative, Spence, whose memory has also been wiped clean. After navigating the horde of zombies that have taken over the entire facility and making her way out, she's captured by Umbrella. After being subjugated, Alice becomes an experimental guinea pig, where she is stuck in a repeated loop of infection curing and reinfection with the T-virus. This inhumane process, instead of killing her, makes her develop immunity against the virus and become a superhuman. Alice, now an important asset for Umbrella, repeatedly tries to sabotage their attempts and foil them as a form of rebellion. After multiple attempts at trying and escaping, Umbrella continues to make extensive attempts to bring her back throughout the franchise. With all her quirks and superhuman power, Alice comes across as quite a sharp, resourceful, fiercely independent woman, until we get to know her backstory. Over 6 films, her evolution into a superhuman clone earns her telekinesis, rapid healing, agility, and resilience. But one thing that she already possesses is her emotional strength and real personality. Milla Jovovich does an excellent and convincing job with the stunts, making her character Alice stand out from the rest and leave a mark on the audience. The sleeper behind the security doors. Underneath Raccoon City, in the bio-research facility Hive, owned by the Umbrella Corporation, a disoriented Alice wakes up in the bathroom of a mansion with no memory. Her amnesia is a result of the nerve gas released by the Hive's AI, known as Red Queen, to control the outbreak of the T-virus within the confines of the lab. Wandering through the mansion, hoping to find clues regarding her identity, she gets jumped by Matt Addison, who claimed he worked with the Raccoon PD and was looking for Lisa, an Umbrella researcher and a mole working for him. Alice also finds her mission partner, Spence, who also had amnesia due to the nerve gas and was taken hostage, like Alice and Matt, by Umbrella's commando team. It was too late by the time the Red Queen had been successfully deactivated. Almost everyone down in the lab was now infected by the leaked virus. On top of it all, the failed system now enabled easy access for the undead to go out in the world, spreading the chaos of the zombie virus further. After losing many people to the zombies and the traps set by the security system, the rest of the group began planning their way out through the ventilation shafts to the train before everything would be sealed off. When approached face-to-face with Cerberus, a zombie dog, Alice displays remarkable martial arts skills that she had no idea she even knew and kicks him away to fend him off. The scene is forever etched in the viewer's minds as an iconic boss lady move from the movie series. Alice and the rest of the surviving team made their way towards the actual lab, as Alice had flashes of memory wherein she remembered that both the virus and its antivirus were stored there. Once in the lab, Spence, her mission partner and supposed pretend husband, also begins to regain parts of his memory back. On a mission to rebel against Umbrella, it was he who had in fact stolen the virus and antivirus vials and released the T-virus throughout the lab, but got caught in Red Queen's nerve gas trap himself. Although he wished for Alice to accompany him, she didn't support the whole thing and was left with the rest of the team, locked by Spence as he made his way to the train station where he'd stored the said vials. After exquisite moves displayed by Alice, the group made it to the station, where they encountered the zombie form of Spence, who'd been attacked and converted into an undead. With immense pleasure, Alice kills Spence to avenge the betrayal, before boarding the train with the remaining members of the group. After quite an intense face-off with a licker, who killed a few from the group with only Matt and Alice left standing, the duo reached the surface. They were, however, prevented from using the antivirus and instead taken to the hospital for quarantine. After a series of experiments, Matt became a monstrous Nemesis T-type, a tragic fusion of human and weapon, while Alice was surprisingly not mutated. Rising in a City of the Dead. In Resident Evil Apocalypse, a sequel to the horrors experienced in the Hive, Alice is now recruited by Major Kane from Umbrella's Raccoon City Task Force to combat against the new bioweapon Nemesis, the mutated form of Matt Addison. After she escaped from the hospital, she found out that the T-virus had now spread throughout the population of Raccoon City and wreaked havoc, causing a sea of undead zombies infecting the rest. She also discovered that during the time she was at the hospital, she had been subjected to experiments which had caused her DNA to be genetically altered because of the repeated effects of the T-virus. Alice also gets to know a weird ability that she's gained as a result of the experiments. She could now detect the location of others infected with the virus, thereby leading her to rescue some survivors, including Jill Valentine, Terry Morales, and Peyton Wells, hiding inside a church. Revealing to them that she used to work with Umbrella as the source of her knowing their location, and deflecting further intrusive questions, the group, now with the addition of Alice, and operating under the request of Dr. Ashford, the co-creator of the T-virus, agree to rescue his daughter Angela, who's trapped in a school. The deformed, monstrous Nemesis makes its first appearance, which Alice tries to beat but barely makes it out alive, buying just enough time to distract the beast and ensure the group reaches the school to rescue Angela. Peyton is ultimately killed during the scuffle. Alice once again rescues the other two, Angela and Jill, from Cerberus, who is stalking them. The group is then introduced to Carlos, another Umbrella operative Ashford sends to help look for Angela. Unknown to the group, Major Kane has meddled with Ashford's plan to get Alice there to witness her battle the Nemesis. Although he tries convincing her that she's equipped with whatever's needed to fight against Nemesis, Alice refuses, and it's only after Ashford is shot by Kane and Alice is threatened that she confronts Nemesis. After quite a lot of action-packed sequences, Alice successfully manages to impale Nemesis before realizing that he, in fact, is her fellow survivor from the Hive fiasco, Matt Addison, now mutated into the ugly monster form. Kane is overruled and denied orders by Alice and Matt, who, in his mutated state, still remembers her and attacks the Umbrella soldiers. In fact, he also helps the group escape and protects her from the helicopter sent to kill her. Alice makes it out and is pulled to her feet by Angela and Carlos just as she sees her savior, Nemesis, aka Matt's arm, lying under the debris of the helicopters he prevented from killing her. Reborn in the hands of her enemy. As a nuclear missile detonated over Raccoon City, the shockwaves loosened a pole in the evacuation helicopter that Alice and the other survivors were seated in. Alice steps in and is impaled by the loose pole instead of Angela, who was in its path. Alice catches glimpses and flashes of the crash just as the helicopter crashes deep into the Arklay Mountains. 2 hours later, her body is pulled out of the wreck by a group of Umbrella scientists, led by a certain Dr. J. Isaacs. After a duration of 3 weeks post the attack on Raccoon City, Alice is transported to an Umbrella-run lab in Detroit. There, Alice has been reanimated, that is, brought back to life after being injected with a new strain of T-virus in an attempt to turn her into Umbrella's most successful bioweapon. Alice regains memory of everything that happened in Raccoon City and the Hive and calmly declares that her name is Alice. She remembers everything before attacking the Umbrella scientists, including Dr. Isaacs. With the new abilities, Alice uses them to defend herself against the scientists, including remaining unaffected by a taser and reversing its effect against the person using it, killing a security guard with a mere look through the CCTV and the use of telekinesis. Jill and Carlos, who were presumed to be dead during the crash, intervene and help Alice escape. Although reluctantly agreeing to let her go, Isaacs was also satisfied with creating the first successful human weapon, which would be of great use to the Umbrella Corps, and ordered the activation of Project Alice. The scene is presented beautifully with the Umbrella logo displayed in Alice's eye as she is shown running away, hinting at something surreal. What started as a game of just cat and mouse and involved just an amnesiac operative now involved a highly sought-after superhuman. Becoming the perfect experiment. After repeatedly being exposed to the T-virus, unlike Matt Addison, who also had to undergo the same experimentation as her and turned into a monstrous being, Alice, in fact, underwent quite a unique transformation. The T-virus now bonded within her, unlike any of the others that were infected. Instead, the T-virus gave her quite a few enhancements like superior strength, agility, reflexes, healing, and resilience, instead of the usual decreasing brain function, rotting flesh, and cannibalistic, mindless carnage. Her enhanced condition was immediately evident in Resident Evil Apocalypse, where she engages in hand-to-hand combat with Matt in his monstrous state of Nemesis, the latest BOW. Now, with superhuman-like strength, one kick from Alice is enough to snap necks, as seen in Extinction, where she had to face off with certain psychopaths. After being tased and her finger snapped, she recovered in both situations quite quickly and unfazed, nonchalantly snapping the finger back in place. Alice escapes from Dr. J. Isaac's lab in Detroit after being injected with a different strain of T-virus, which supposedly is the reason for her telekinetic abilities, which are displayed by the end of Apocalypse. Killing a guard in a different surveillance room who is keeping a watch on her and making sure he bled from every open surface by manipulating her face on all the screens visible also hints at her interface with technology, another positive from the exposure to the T-virus. She flings objects just by the use of her mind, causing her bike to levitate, deflects the fire that was aimed to kill the crows, fried Umbrella's satellite processor as it tried to control her, again hinting at her integration with technology for her benefit, and lastly, in a very dramatic face-off, sending the mutated Dr. Isaacs flying across the room and through the wave, all by emitting a shockwave-like blast. However, the use of her psychic abilities often gave her a headache, hinting at just how powerful they were, usually also causing her to lose consciousness. Powers set off psionic activity that was detected by White Queen, the more humane and advanced AI model in alpha and beta waves. Skilled in hand-to-hand combat and weaponry skills, Alice can even improvise makeshift weapons from random debris. Her clones on the same level as hers had the same level of telekinetic skills, able to blast off an entire room with nothing but shockwaves, and even finishing off Dr. Isaacs for the final time with the help of these clones. Even though Wesker neutralizes her T-cells with a serum, stripping her of her powers, her inherent intelligence and martial arts training are such that they help her in combat. By the end of Resident Evil Retribution, even though he returns her T-cell powers, they are finally removed from her body by the antivirus, in a brutal twist of betrayal and redemption. A hero with extraordinary abilities and powers, Alice truly is the most iconic character in the entire franchise. Alone in a dying world. After she escapes from the Detroit laboratory, she wanders the wastelands of America alone, knowing in her gut that she's a threat to whoever she teams up with her abilities, powers, and satellite tracking. She takes shelter in the wastelands, not wanting to kill against her will, and being subjected to further experimentation at the hands of Umbrella by downloading a plan for the Umbrella satellites that are tracking her. 5 years of hiding, and after unfortunately responding to a call for help, she's captured by a group of psychopaths and thrown in a pit of Cerberuses. Instead of being ripped to shreds, Alice outwits her captors and flees. Her powers are ever growing, both a good thing for her and a bad thing. good since it can help her defend herself and combat, and bad because the growing powers are more susceptible to being detected by the satellites. These skills also came in handy after she ran into a convoy led by Claire, the former leader of the American refugee convoy, and saved them by extending a cloud of fire to ward off a swarm of infected crows and saving Carlos's life. After regaining consciousness, she informs the remaining members of the convoy of an infected outpost in Alaska, Arcadia. And it's decided that, after scouring for supplies in Las Vegas, the team would make their way there. Ambushed by a super crate of undead that Sam Isaacs had set up to trap her, she put on quite a brave fight, her implanted neural dampener now set off by Isaacs deactivating her. About to blow up the helicopter and realizing it might be the convoy's ticket to Alaska, she stops herself. After a romantic moment with Carlos, he sacrifices himself to the undead horde, since he'd already been infected, to distract the zombies, clearing the path for the convoy to take off. They lift off, while Alice remains to clear things with Umbrella for the final time. On entering the facility, she comes face to face with a carnage of dozens and dozens of her faces lying in the ditches. These clones, which Isaacs had successfully created, was to further research on Alice and her superhuman powers. The White Queen, the AI system similar to the red one she'd encountered in Hive, shows her willingness to help Alice, but requires the killing of Isaacs, who would now form into a mutated monster called the Tyrant. After the face-off with Tyrant, and him being sliced by the lasers in the laser room, and a near-death experience with the lasers herself, prevented by her clone, Alice is saved. With Isaac's death now waking up many of Alice's clones, Alice makes an appearance at the Umbrella's board meeting via hologram, threatening Albert Wesker, the chairman, that she would be coming for him with some of her friends. The Fall of Tokyo, The Lie of Arcadia. Picking up from where they last left off, in Resident Evil Afterlife, Alice and her clones launch a high-level assault on Umbrella's Tokyo headquarters with the help of her multiple clones. Everyone except Albert Wesker is killed. Albert manages to escape on a helicopter before detonating a bomb and destroying Alice's clones. Alice, who's also on the plane with Albert, confronts him, ready to execute him. He injects her with a serum that strips Alice of her superhuman powers and overpowers her. He reveals he has also injected himself with the same T-virus and is thus at the same level as her. Alice, instead of being mad at Albert for taking away her powers, is instead thankful to him for bringing her back to her human status. The pilotless plane, however, crashes, and it's revealed that only Alice made it out of the plane crash alive. After she pilots a plane towards Alaska, hoping to find the rest of the convoy members, she comes upon a field of abandoned airplanes and, amidst it all, Claire, who now has a scarab device on her chest. Claire does not remember who put the device on her or where the others are. The two continue to Citadel Correctional Facility in Los Angeles, where a horde of zombies surrounds it and discover a prison full of survivors, including Chris Redfield. It's also revealed that Arcadia, the safe haven, is actually the name of a ship that's in the harbor. By escaping through the drains, the group boards Arcadia. It is, however, in a dark twist of fate, a trap set by Umbrella. It's revealed that Wesker is in fact very much alive, as he stands in a lab surrounded by thousands of test subjects in stasis pods and his own enhanced T-virus self, which has developed more cannibalistic and hardcore by consuming flesh. After an action-packed fighting sequence between Alice and Wesker, she shoots him in the head, compromising the test facility. She invites other survivors to Arcadia, which is now finally a true haven. With another twist, it's shown that Jill Valentine, who also has a scarab device on her, leads a group of Umbrella tiltrotas towards Arcadia. Alice gets injured in the battle and gets thrown overboard. Trapped in digital nightmares. After she's been fished out of the waters and taken to Umbrella Corps' biotesting facility, Umbrella Prime, Alice is questioned on waking up by Jill Valentine, who's in a brainwashed state. After a lucky power cut, which helps her to escape from her cell, Alice also manages to escape from a high-security laser grid defense measure. After she comes face-to-face with Japan's Patient Zero and a horde of undead, Alice makes a narrow escape by going through a door which leads her back to the facility where all the personnel are dead except for Ada Wong, an associate of Wesker. Ada informs Alice, just as Wesker makes an appearance on the computer screen as well, that the duo no longer work for Umbrella Corps, with the organization now being led by the Red Queen, the supercomputer AI, with a mission to exterminate humanity to contain the viral threat. Alice, wanting to escape by busting out the window, is informed by Wesker that he's sending help as a rescue team. They set out towards the recreation of Raccoon City after the Red Queen threatened them that they would all die. After clearing through a bit of a battle-like situation in the New York simulation against two Axemen, a young girl, Becky, is rescued and thinks of Alice as her mother. The group comes face-to-face with Jill and a group of soldiers, ending with Ada's capture as Alice and Becky escape. After entering the Moscow simulation, they enter the second clone of Rain Ocampo, a member of Umbrella's commando unit with whom Alice entrusts Becky as she continues to meet the rescue team. After rescuing the team from Lickers and Las Plagas Undead, the team with Alice reunites with Rain and Becky. The Licker catches up to them and overpowers Becky just as Jill and the clones also come up. After a mayhem of Lickers and clones, Alice manages to escape Becky and reunite with the rest of the team on the surface, just as Umbrella Prime is submerged and just as explosions go off. The team is again intercepted by Jill and Rain's clone, and it ends with combat. Rain is against Leon from the rescue team, and Alice is against Jill. Even in her severely injured state, Alice manages to remove the scarab device attached to Jill, finally releasing her from the Red Queen's AI influence. After Rain's clone overpowers the team, Alice shatters the frozen ice below, thereby flooding the facility before losing her consciousness. When she comes to, Alice is in front of Wesker, who re-injects her with the T-virus, saying he's just giving her back the gift for defeating the Red Queen supercomputer, whose mission was to put an end to humanity. Alice vows to kill Wesker for doing this to her, just as shown in the hordes and hordes of undead outside the White House barricades, where Alice is with Wesker. Back to where it all began. Alice wakes up after the destruction of the White House amid the ruins of Washington, D.C., and, battling two mutated creatures, makes her way into the city. She's then contacted by the Red Queen supercomputer and given a 48-hour countdown to prevent the pandemic's final wave from emerging by sneaking back into the Hive, where a highly potent airborne antivirus is stored. Alice sets out across the arid American wastelands towards Hive, Raccoon City, and where it all began. She finds a bike, but is shocked since she's not an authorized user of the bike. On waking up, she is shocked to see Dr. Isaacs, since she was sure she had killed him. But it's then revealed that he was in fact not the original, but a clone. Suspecting she knows about the antivirus, he takes her behind the tank, which has an army of undead in hot pursuit. She spots another bike and hotwires it using Dr. Isaacs' hand in order to make her escape amid the barrage of bullets all around her. On entering Raccoon City, she sees a tower in what is supposedly the last human settlement. After being trapped and in a face-off with the inhabitants of the tower, Alice comes face-to-face with Claire, the leader of the convoy. She informs the survivors at the tower about the oncoming army of undead and the antivirus, which the Queen gave 48 hours for Alice to get her hands on and release. Claire and the rest of the people at the tower prepare to defend the tower against Isaacs and the undead army. Somehow, under the guidance of Alice and Claire's partnership, they manage to destroy one tank by igniting it and attacking Isaacs' tank as well, pouring gasoline inside it before setting it on fire. She discovers that Isaacs has managed to flee the scene and take care of the remaining undead. When the group learns that another batch of undead is approaching the tower, and now with almost no defenses to fight against them, the group with Alice needs to make their way into the exposed entrance of the Hive. On the way to the Hive, the group encounters a pack of Cerberuses sent over by Wesker. After barely managing to defend themselves against the pack, the group enters the familiar Hive. Through a holographic device, the Red Queen makes an appearance and informs Alice that Wesker's plan is not in accordance with hers, and she cannot stop him or his plan from taking place because the supercomputer can't go against an Umbrella employee. On the earpiece, Red Queen informs her that there is a mole amongst the group. The Red Queen also gives a holographic map to the group for guidance. After the group is split due to external forces, Alice has to team up with Michael, who's killed by a creature similar to Licker. As Doc and Alice meet up further on after defeating the Licker, they make their way further into the Hive down the elevator, where they see dozens of Umbrella personnel and all of the Umbrella Corps' high command in stasis chambers. The two, Alice and Doc, attach explosives to the chambers with the motive to blow up the higher-ups and the Hive. As the two go further down into the Hive, the real Dr. Isaacs meets them, informing Alice that the one she met before was yet another one of his clones. With the Doc revealing himself to be the mole, Isaacs threatens to destroy the antivirus. In a plot twist that no one saw coming, it's revealed that Alice herself is a clone of the long-lost daughter, Alicia Marcus, of Umbrella's co-founder, James Marcus. After a face-off with Isaacs in the laser corridor, she kills him by planting a grenade. As time's running out, Alice runs out of the Hive before it takes down Alicia, Isaacs, Wesker, and the entire Umbrella elite, symbolizing the corporation's ruin. On the surface, she is again intercepted by a clone of Isaacs, who is overpowered by a horde of undead. Alice breaks the vials, vaporizing all the undead in sight and collapsing, seemingly also dead because of the presence of T-virus in her body. A legacy written in her blood. After releasing the antivirus in the final chapter, Alice, who was presumed dead because of the antivirus, woke up next to Claire, who was also presumed dead as a result of the blast. The Red Queen AI, who communicates with Alice on the holographic communication device, informs her that the antivirus only killed the T-virus within her, thereby destroying the superhuman part of her and retaining the human part. The Red Queen informs Alice that Alicia's childhood memories have been uploaded to Alice, and she now has the missing piece of her memory solved, and Alice gets to live a life that Alicia never got to live, and Alice always wanted to live. Alice realizes that the mission is far from over, as the effect of the antivirus would take time to implement across the world, meaning a lot of survivors would still need help to be safe. Alice makes it her personal mission now to find survivors and rides off to find survivors and rebuild humanity. This part again becomes a defining moment of Alice's personality, as, despite all the turmoils and stuff she's gone through, she still has the strength and ability to feel hope and anticipate a better tomorrow. Secrets behind the eyes of Alice. Throughout the course of the Resident Evil films, Alice wasn't just defined as an iconic character because of her telekinetic powers, her spunk and fighter spirit, but also a mix of scrapped storylines, wardrobe evolution, and a lot of production insights that truly sculpted the character we've come to love. When it comes to the character in general, early drafts of the series suggested that Alice's real name would in fact be Janice Prospero, or Janice, which basically means the double-faced, owing to her split role from an operative to a biohuman weapon. This theory was later contradicted by Keith A. DeCandido's film novelization, wherein she was given the surname Abernathy. When it came to wardrobe choices, Alice went from a startling red female killer of the first Resident Evil movie to the post-apocalyptic, practical, yet grungy look in Apocalypse and Extinction to a more utilitarian look in the final parts of the franchise. Worth mentioning is the actress who played the role, Mila Jovovich, who designed the clothes worn by the character in Extinction, and they were sourced from her own fashion line, Jovovich Hawk. The close relationship of the character with the actress is also displayed as she also styled herself and was in charge of the hair, going from a platinum blonde to fading out to more grungy brown hair, hinting at the progression of the character's personality shift from just an operative to a superhuman to the savior of humanity. Surprisingly, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Gwyneth Paltrow were the actresses who had been shortlisted for the role. Still, it was ultimately landed by Jovovich, who did a remarkable job justifying the role and playing it quite convincingly. Also worth mentioning is that Jovovich did most of the action sequences herself and did not use a stunt double, providing a much-needed fresh authenticity and genuineness to the role. VH1 also dubbed the actress as Kick Butt for her amazing portrayal. At the same time, AllMovie pointed out how the physicality of the role elevated Alice beyond the typical mainstream narrative of an action hero. Marvelous verdict. Looking back, Alice wasn't just another female protagonist whose only role revolves around being eye candy and a fair spot in the otherwise morbid and grotesque zombie horror genre, but instead, she became the very spine that carried the movie. From just a decision of inventing Alice as an original character, as opposed to adapting the version from the games, even though monumental creative decisions and liberties were taken, all in all, they worked greatly in the favor of the film franchise. Be it the scrapped name like Janice Prospero, or the influence of Mila Jovovich's own fashion line on her iconic looks, everything about Alice felt oddly personal. In short, even if not flawless in all aspects, Alice's character is definitely memorable. A kick-butt character worth watching. So, what did you think of Alice's journey? Did the film do justice to the character? Or do you think that they should have kept true to the game's protagonist? And yeah, do let us know your favorite Alice moment down in the comments. If you liked this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on our channel, where we've broken down dozens of fictional heroes and movie franchises. Time to sign off. See you all in the next one, and until then, stay marvelous. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.